Ren and Stimpy is airing Season 2, Episode 13, The Royal Canadian Kilted Yaxman.
Yeah. It gets weird, guys. I think we all expected it. I thought this was a different episode. I thought this was the skinny slapping episode with the naked man, the naked old man.
Okay.
But this was not that. But it was one of those weird John K. What is the guy's name?
John Kricfalusi. That's why they call him John K.
John K. Well, it's got John K all over it. It's bizarre.
Yeah. And I mean, it doesn't seem like it warranted him getting fired. But like you said, off camera, man, it had more to do with that. It was about his like behavior off camera and just like.
Yeah. I don't think it was the content of the show at all. I mean, obviously, because they got so much success off of it with all the weirdness. But yeah, I think he was, if I remember right, just like sort of a tyrant.
Yeah.
Which is so bizarre. Nickelodeon just had all these showrunners and stuff that were just fucking abusive, apparently.
Did y'all not have HR in Nickelodeon in the 90s?
I mean,
like,
do some fucking research.
What the fuck, man? Check people's background before you hire. And, you know, we start the story off with the story of the Royal Canadian Kilted Yaxman. And the drill sergeant, he's saying, we always get our butts kicked. We need men with bigger hearts, bigger courage, bigger spirit, and only big men will do. And then you see Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, and there's like three just specimens there.
Brock Lesnar motherfuckers.
Yeah, just fucking their necks are swollen. They're all beefed up, but everyone's sweating bullets because what they are being asked to do is basically tame the untamed Canadian wilderness, which has a lot of dangers in it, apparently, a lot of potholes, a lot of stuff that can fuck you up. And the only person who's just chomping at the bit is Stimpy. Ren's sweating bullets. The guys, they're drenched. They look like me right now. You can't see it. They're sweating profusely. And the drill sergeant, or whatever the equivalent is in the Canadian mounted Yaxman, he's ready to go with those big guys. But after Stimpy asks for that to go, he gives Ren and Stimpy the job, Steve.
Well, Stimpy gives him a $5 bribe.
Yeah. What is $5 Canadian dollars in American dollars? There's a quiz for you. It's probably worth more. I don't know.
In '93, I was probably at like $50.
Yeah, but now Ren and Stimpy, they're the men for the job. They're not big in stature, but they're big in heart.
But they're not even men.
No.
There's that part.
Yeah, that's a little, you know, it's like now. They identify as men, Steve.
Well, I'm a Ninja Turtle then.
Exactly.
I'm
an X-Men. So.
I'm two of them actually. I'm Donatello, Michelangelo. Goddammit.
Nice.
And you know the rest of the men who aren't serving for the Canadian Kilted Yaxman, they have to remain in the country with the women. And Stimpy, he says like, "Isn't that a pity, Ren?" And Ren just slaps the fuck out of dude. Like, dude, you idiot!
Slaps the eyeballs out of his head.
And then we go through the Lost Barren Wasteland. And Ren and Stimpy, they're facing hardship after hardship. Ren gets leeches. They get pelted with baseball hail. There's crabs in the toilet, so you can't even piss without like looking every which way. They get arrows shot at them. They come across a Kodiak marmoset, and he's punching the fuck out of them.
He's going Stone Cold Steve Austin on him. Just out. I thought he was huge, but then he gets up there. It's just like a little cannonball. Just yeah.
Those fists are huge, man. Thank God I've never came across a Kodiak.
That's why
marmoset.
I don't go to Canada, dude. I'm freaked out, especially after this.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was wild like that. I just thought there was a lot of like, you know, Tim Hortons donuts, a couple of hockey fans, you know, I don't know. That Hockey Town guy that always had the plaid outfits. I don't know if you remember that guy from CBC.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Can't call it, but yeah, that, some Bret Hart pop-up shops maybe.
Yeah, get in the dungeon. They should have stopped by the Hart Foundation, just gotten a little, you know, pick-me-up.
You a big son of a bitch, aren't you? I'm going to put you in the ankle lock. You're a big lumbering jack motherfucker. But yeah, so there's that. And then they go through the Canadian jungle. That I didn't know Canada had jungles, but they do that, and they take a sip of water. There's no water in the canteen. It's just a canteen full of mosquitoes or bees.
I think they were bees.
Yeah, and Ren's fucking mouth gets stung the fuck up.
That's terrifying, by the way. Just if you think about that in real life, you think you're taking a nice sip of water, you get a mouthful of bees. I don't like that.
Yeah, I hate that for Canada.
And we get one of those gruesome close-ups of a bee stinging the fuck out of Ren's tongue, and then his ass gets pulled off because when bees sting you, obviously
They die.
They lose that butt. So appreciate the realism there, I guess we could call it.
That
John
was
K.
Yeah, that was the lore of John K animation, man. His shit was crude, it was realistic looking. More so than its counterparts, you know, because it was released the same time as Doug and Rugrats, which were like more child friendly, and then you got this shit.
I mean, I told you when we were watching this, like, to my parents, Ren and Stimpy became as bad as like a Beavis and Butthead, and I was not asked to. I was told not to watch it. Obviously, your boy watched it, but yeah, I don't think parents dug some of this animation style. There's a lot of butt cheeks, a lot of weird just close-ups, and if they watch like 5 minutes, I remember my mom and dad being like, "What the hell are you watching?"
Oh man, so you definitely ain't ready for me watching porn
Yeah.
when you walk in. Damn, yeah.
It was scrambled for a good, they only heard noises, Steve. So
And they're struggling, Ren and Stimpy, but yet they progress, man. They're going through the jungle to now the desert in Canada, and they singing the Royal Canadian Yaxman song or whatever.
Yep. Our country reeks of trees. Keep going, Steve. I remembered that part.
Our yaks are really large, and they smell like rotting beef
carcasses.
It goes on, dude, because this shit is like...
I mean, it's 3 minutes, dude. It's the real... And honestly, Canada, you might want to think about just changing your national anthem to this, because you're going to get a lot of smiles, and you're going to get a lot of praise.
Agreed.
You know?
Especially if it was sung by Bret Hart.
I would definitely... Or Jim the Anvil Neidhart, rest in peace, if he could have done that.
And then, like, as they're trudging along the desert, man, one of the yaks just starts tweaking. He's like, man, fuck this shit. I've had enough. Y'all was on my back through the jungle, through the mountains and shit. Fuck this shit. You know what? He
has a Ren freak out. Ren's usually this guy, just losing it.
You idiot.
But Ren has to slap the yak out of him. Literally. He just gives him a nice pop, brings him back to, and now they're stuck in this Canadian desert. God forbid. And, you'd think they'd want some water. They're hungry. But there's no food, Steve. Or that's what we think.
That's what we think.
But what we find is that instead of the food that they have packed, what they're going to look for is Canada's national trademark, which is just dirt.
Yeah.
It's their leading product. So Ren puts a nice, delicious-looking turkey on a shovel. It's his divining rod, if anybody knows what the fuck that is, where usually be looking for water. These guys are looking for some of that Canadian gold, I guess you'd call it.
Not just the full turkey, Matt, but like he had grapes.
Yep.
On top of like a bologna sandwich or some kind of sandwich, and that was like their lore of getting the dirt well.
Yeah. Toronto tea, Steve.
and now the yaks, they're walking now. Like they're tired of motherfuckers like riding their backs.
They evolve, dude. Fuck it.
And they're like, one of them is just like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just stay here. Let's just catch some Z's.
Boom.
Digs his shovel into the ground, and then out comes a dirt well or a Canadian tea.
Toronto teas.
Toronto tea.
Trademark.
Shout out to Aubrey Graham, by the way. And, now they've struck dirt.
And it's there, Steve. It's right there. It's a big, it's coming out of the ground somehow. Looks like a big old geyser of poop. But that's what they want. So they get the dirt. We cut. Stimpy's a gourmet with dirt. He's got some dirt cakes. He's got a little dirt sausage that looks like some little turds
poop
on the
sauce?
plate. I was going to say poop sausage, but
Poop sausage?
It's weird.
What the?
It's what it looked like. I can't help it.
I hope we don't lose our TikTok account for this.
Poop sausage. Hashtag poop sausage. But they get down. They grub down on this poop cake. And And once again, we get a weird like close up where they're eating, and this always bothered me, like because Stimpy would eat like kitty litter sometimes, and they have this like grating, like gravelly sound when they're chewing, and it bothers me. I don't know what it's like ASMR in reverse.
It's like you could feel it.
Yeah, exactly.
Once again, shout out to John Kay because like I feel like he's a pioneer. Like
did Dude ever make anything other than Ren and Stimpy? Did we get anything else with this style that wasn't that?
That's
what
great
I'm wondering.
question.
Because I would love to see if this guy was just given full reign, like what in the fuck would come out of his head?
I feel like he burned every bridge in Hollywood, man, because like he popped up years later and they let him participate in the Ren and Stimpy adult party show or some shit.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's
I
like
remember
if you
that.
had some motion going, you would have been like, man, fuck y'all. Y'all like this is my baby and y'all disrespected me. So
Yeah.
I kind of feel like he doesn't have motion, but we could be wrong. Y'all type in the comments.
Yeah, let us know, John K. If you're listening or watching right now, where are you?
We're live on TikTok. Like that
What's
feels
up, TikTok?
good.
Yeah, I know. We finally pulled it off, Steve. Shout out to TikTok.
We can actually tell people, hey, say some shit if you want to, and then like they may
We
or
can't see it.
yeah.
We're just sitting here recording, but you know, call me Jimmy, call me Donnie.
Who's your favorite new kid? And then after all of this, man, they do the Royal Canadian Kilted Yaxman anthem again, and then they just die. They stand in that same pose. They're just like, yeah.
Well, they plant the flag, Steve. They Lewis and Clark their way to the edge of the wilderness,
they made their mark.
planted that flag, and then basically, I guess they just stood there until time lapsed to modern time, and their bones have been now covered up by a giant highway, a couple of billboards, but that's because of their hard work.
The OJ chase happened like right above their head.
Yeah. Yeah, but shout out to Ren and Stimpy. Tread in the wilderness and eating some poo sausage, Steve.
Poop sausage. Hashtag poop sausage. And that wasn't it though, because
No.
we get like two little mini commercials with the powdered toast man.
One of my faves. Powdered Toast Man. I forgot he flew backwards. It's just like, why would you do that? It's weird and it looks hilarious.
It's one of the things forever embedded in my brain because my buddy Ron, back in college, he dated this girl named Jen. I don't think she's watching this, but she had a booty chin, and
okay.
we would call her Powdered Toast Jen. And but yeah, shout out to Jen. Yeah,
Jen?
you're probably not watching, like I said, but
I like butt chins. I think it's kind of, it's majestic sometimes. It's like, remember
On a
when-
chick?
and me, myself, well, I don't know. It depends on the rest of the jaw. You get a little
Yeah.
some though. I mean, it might look all right.
on us, on a guy, a butt chin, yeah, it
Did
seems.
she have like a real fucking hard jaw, or was it, was it feminine and it just had a little butt on it? or-
You might be tempted to like wipe it with some toilet paper every now and then if you stare at it
Oh,
too long
okay.
enough.
Sorry, Jen. I didn't mean
Yeah.
to. I shouldn't have even brought anything else up. But what I love is that in this commercial, obviously they're trying to sell powdered toast. So these kids, they're hungry. They eat some powdered toast, and then it fills them with vitamin F, Steve.
Vitamin F.
That fills their trousers with vitamin F. It puffs them up, and then they just lift off.
Because it gives them strength in certain places.
Yeah.
And then they take off, the kids do, and then they see Powder Toast Man in the sky. And then he tells them, hey, children can't fly. They slap. Yeah. They snap back into reality. They drop from the sky, but who's there to save them? Powder Toast Man.
Better get a good grip on that tight buttock, Steve.
Yeah, he saved them with their
Wink,
butt.
wink.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But that's how he always saves people, with that butt, doing a lot of squats. But
Ironically.
yeah, exactly. These commercials were part of because we get Log, which was a big one, and they always had these funny little, almost like the SNL fake commercials where it just added a little something. It wasn't really a story, but you just got a nice little Spumco commercial to end the episode. In this case, we get two.
Man, I'm telling you, John Kay, he was a pioneer, bro. Like, nobody cartoon-wise was doing this type of shit. And then we get another cartoon. It's Sugar Side Pops. It's a side of grass in the form of a cereal.
It doesn't look tasty, Steve, but the mom, she takes a nice big mouthful of it. And I don't remember the tagline, but again, it's gross. It's hilarious. And you said this is the last episode that John Kay had anything to do with the show.
Until the Ren and Stimpy adult party cartoon in 2003.
But the actual OG show, John Kay hit the bricks.
Yeah.
Enough of this skinny slapping you've been talking about.